Technology, with all its technicalities and difficulties, must be learned and embraced if a nation is to succeed well beyond the 21st century. No longer can we as a nation continue to trivialize what should be taken seriously. These were the opinion of Shina Badaru at the Nigeria Cybercrimes Act 2015 review, organized by Technology Time Outlook, which he oversees as founder and chief executive. Speaker after speaker pointed out the shortcomings of the new act, particularly its narrowness and definition of certain categories of crime. Basil Udotai, a technology advisor, feels governments seem to be taking one step forward and two steps backward. Here is what he said of the new act.
Internet governance is an authority in global internet governance, and I cannot be more impressed with his work. That's the only behind I'm going to kiss today. Even though I have stories for all these other guys, but they are good. Now, because of time, let's just go into the story. Next slide. Yeah, is it possible to show? Oh, the camera will need to light. Now, this is, again, let me remind everyone that this is a legal review. So what I did, because of the audience, was to try and dumb down the legal content so that, all of us can relay the story. Because the value of this is for someone to be able to say it again to the next person and not lose the message. Shino said it at the very beginning, and it is true, that for a very long time, this country has suffered. All the achievements that we have accomplished in ICT happened without an effective framework, legal framework, tackling undesirable conduct online, and there are many. Okay? So, for a while, people were really worried what happened. I was put up in those days, 2004 to 2006, everywhere, traveling around the world, talking about how Nigeria is eventually put an end to the 419, because that's what everybody knew us for at the time. Now we are number 3 globally for cybercrimes. I don't know if you know that. Now, we tried as much as possible, but it did not work out. I have theories for why it did not succeed, but that's another story. Now, the question that I want us to have in mind, for those of us that have read the law, do you think that the law as drafted, as passed, do you think it is effective to close this gap? Okay? Does it create the kind of a law enforcement framework that you are happy with? Okay? Do you think it's going to lead to effective and efficient enforcement of the act? For operators here, do you feel happy when you're reading it in terms of enforcement? Do you think compliance will be easy for you? Or are you going to continue to have challenges even after this law has come to being? Again, for those of us who are not lawyers, the legal position is that once the president has assented to a bill that is passed by the two houses, two chambers, it becomes law. And once it is law, it is enforceable immediately, right? The law is enforceable. So, as we are here today, any of us that is guilty, not guilty is not the right word, any of us that has violated any of the conduct that is in this act is susceptible to an arrest, to be investigated, prosecuted, and sentenced. And by the way, another thing you notice in the act is that a whole lot of the sentences are high. I haven't seen anything that is less than $1 million in terms of punitive, and it's also not exclusive. It's usually joined in almost all the provisions, without any sanctions by way of finance or actual jail term. Next slide, please. Now, this law has wide details of this country in terms of, it is, of course, something that is very gladdening to my heart to see that eventually Nigeria succeeded in putting together a legal framework that will protect and secure computer systems and networks, including the data that comes with them. specifically protect critical information infrastructure, especially, and then create a procedural framework for law enforcement to get involved, as well as interlink Nigeria with the international community with very key, well-drafted provisions.
Udotai and his colleagues at the review believe that the act could be perfected, taking into consideration its inadequacies. Emmanuel Edet, Head Legal Services at National Information Technology Development Agency, takes a look at the legal implication of such act.
One word that is very interesting to me, as Basil mentioned, under internet governance, is point-testing terrorism, if that's an English word. But we have noticed that in technology, approaches to the enactment of laws has to include multi-stakeholders. Initially, under international law, we were only dealing with state actors. But we have come to a level of development where we understand that even in international law, individuals are important. We are seeing an evolution of warfare where groups, mark my word, groups are actually taking on countries in war. Groups are capturing territories, no more countries capturing territories. This is in the physical world. In the online world, is exactly the same thing. And that is why government is expected to sit with its citizens and stakeholders to ensure that we have a proper framework. So I would advise that as a takeaway from here, there should be a sort of forum where all the people affected by these laws can come and sit together and see how this law will actually function and operate.
What further disheartening is how little the Act protects even the consumer. Indiscreet deductions by banks, unsolicited SMSs, and prohibitive charges by telecom operators. The list could reach a mile if we have to make one. Shola Salako, a consumer rights advocate, feels government needs to do more in protecting consumers. Listen to what she says.
The essence of criminalizing this activity to protect other people from being victims of this activity. So in that point, everything we're doing about this is about consumer protection. What I would really like this law to be able to do for us is either in the body of the law or maybe by further regulations by whoever is going to be the custodian of the law. I notice that there's no commission to manage the law. It looks like the law is everybody's law. We would like to be able to get frequent and consistent regulations that would address those core issues that affect the average consumer. Because when you talk about all this your cyber thing and all that, you're talking above the head of a lot of people. The bottom line is what they know is I took my card to some place and something happened to it and I don't know who to talk to about it. Or my name is being used on Facebook to do ABCD and I don't know who to report to and all that. We need to be able to bring it from the macro to the micro and tie it down to a point where consumers can actually know that if you do this against me, there's a law I can actually stand on that will seem to protect me and kind of help to deter you from doing those, committing those infractions against me, either transactionally or even socially in interaction online. You say it's cashless society. The frauds are also becoming very cashless because you hold your card in your hand and you have everything with you, and yet somebody's taking out your account. And I don't know if this law gives me, as a consumer, some kind of reprieve, and who do I talk to? While he was talking, I was making some notes. And one of the things that I would like to highlight here is, for the consumer, what really bothers us about one, the billing problem of all these transactions we do online, or whatever it is that we take, we get to do online. Because I don't know if this law provides, or whatever law there is, provides for consumers to have a right to see what they are being used for, especially in the technology business, and even in banking, but mostly technology business. I was raising this issue with someone who said, especially prepaid transactions. You know, in a prepaid transaction, I give you my money upfront in trust that I'm giving you money, I want to use these services for like 30 days or so. Now, because you have access to my money, does that empower you, give you the right right to take out any money, any amount of money from it for whatever. You know, you get all kinds of deductions on your account, and nobody is going to give you a bill to say, well, this is how you spent the money that you gave me. I was actually hoping that the law will mandate some kind of compliance for those kind of things.
When we return, we'll take a look at the Cyber Crimes Act from the point of view of a player in the telecom sector who feels the act, rather than solving problems, might be creating a loophole for more in ICT.
For us in the private sector, we have to, through industry associations, through like-minded people, bring in experts like Brazil, bring in technology writers like I assume a lot of the people here, and then talk about it, get government, because what's going to happen is some people are going to take advantage of the lacuna in this law, and they're going to cause a lot of mischief. So we need to start talking about it. What is happening now is this law is not that widely known. Even in the industry, the communications industry, a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people have not looked at it. The law enforcement agencies themselves have not looked at it. When they look at it and they realize the amount of mischief and corporate cost of it, a lot is going to happen. So the quicker we start talking, the quicker we start collaborating, coming together to put pressure where we should and make sure that the ICT industry does not go backwards, the better for Nigeria.
We've been following you for some time now. Why go this way?
Essentially, the need to refocus the Nigerian Cybercrime Act 2015 arose from the fact that we thought that public awareness about that law was not high enough, because when you look at it, that law affects everybody that uses a mobile phone, uses the internet, uses ATM, and these are things that virtually all of us use today. But a law as profound as that, a law as all-encompassing as that, most Nigerians don't know about it. So we decided to create a platform in which the experts will come together, converge and share ideas and break it down and analyze the implications of those laws for us. And you have seen today quite a lot of startling revelations have come out with regard to that law. So that's essentially why we decided to do this.
Okay, Shino, are you not worried as a journalist that, yes, we've been clamoring for a law, and then this law finally comes, but nobody's ready. The judiciary is not ready. Judges have to go to maybe special courses. Those who need to enforce, the police themselves are not so versed with this law. Neither are lawyers. So what do you think we should be doing right now in case there's a need to test this law in the court of law?
Essentially, what needs to be done is what we've started. And we would only appeal to other critical stakeholders to follow suit. Promote a lot of awareness creation about the law, and promote a whole lot more of collaboration across not just the industry, across critical stakeholders and across the various publics that it affects. It affects consumers, it affects operators, it affects even the media, it affects the legal community. So moving forward from what Technology Times has started, would recommend that we have more of stakeholders coming together to analyze the implications of the law as we begin to subject it to tests across board.
What should we be expecting for 2016 if you can look into the crystal ball?
Okay, in 2016, there'll be a whole lot more emphasis on the need to deepen broadband penetration in Nigeria. So far, we've done fantastic. We've done great with voice. There was a national broadband plan. It's now led for us to see how the new government can see how that would be implemented, either the way it is or via its own modification. But the next phase of growth in the Nigerian communications industry today is broadband. There's a huge appetite out there for data. People need to expand the user experience with having access to internet with fast speed internet that will support our need to do more transactions, more electronic transactions, more buying and selling online and all of that. So broadband will come tops on the agenda. That's what I foresee.
How comfortable should Nigerians be? How safe can they feel with this law?
I would say immediately that this law is a landmark development as far as cybercrime, cybersecurity is concerned. I think that Nigerians should feel safe. There are some issues with the law, and there are some defects, there's some lacuna, there's room for improvement. But the fact that we have this law at all is a major, major milestone.
How prepared do you think lawyers really are? If this law is going to be tested in a court of law?
Let us start by saying that Nigerians are an incredibly brilliant set of people. Yeah, it's a given that right now we have not much by way of legal expertise in this area for obvious reasons. There are not many lawyers. You can count the number of lawyers who can profess any kind of expertise in ICT on the fingers of one hand. But the fact that we're very quick at learning, I foresee immediately lawyers going for courses, undertaking self-study, and to bring up their skill sets to meet the requirements of enforcing and applying this law.
Looking at the space of the base, I'm talking about the fact that this is the largest sector of that economy where this law infractions can happen. I'm asking you right now that if we have a preponderance of cases, what are we saying that we're not really safe? I mean, lawyers have to go back for courses. What about the police?
Well, first, we are not going to immediately have an avalanche of cases because the cases, if there are reports of infractions, they have to be investigated. A prima facie case must be established. There must be a decision to prosecute. So we must have those steps taken before we can begin to speak of defense attorneys. And so what I think is there's going to be a takeoff. It will be slow at first, and that will give you enough time for parties on both sides, both the investigating and prosecuting authorities, as well as the defense counsel. There's a third part. For me, perhaps the most critical aspect of it at all is the judges who are going to be adjudicating on cases in this area. Because let's be candid. Even if there is a surfeit of expertise at the defense level, once there's proper investigation and prosecution, and we have knowledgeable judges, then we will see justice being done.
What's the difference between this and the evidence as amended right now? What's the difference? Are they?
No, they're two completely different things. The Evidence Act is procedural. It speaks to how you can adduce evidence for a case that's in court. This is a body of substantive law on its own.
How comfortable are you right now with what we have as the law? Yes, we're happy we have the law, but if this law is taken to a court to test right now, how comfortable are you?
Well, I mean, the work of a lawyer is not to interpret the law. That's the work of the court. If I am advised to, if someone comes to me and asks me to defend him in relation to a charge or a prosecution on the basis of the law, I will just take the case on its face and approach the court for some sort of resolution. But I cannot speculate on how successful or unsuccessful the law would be in court. I can tell you that it is a monumental achievement for Nigeria to eventually close this lacuna, this legal gap that we had in our country where individuals who conduct criminal activities online were somehow obviated from criminal prosecution. It goes to show that it wasn't deliberate. There was no deliberate effort on government to keep these guys in a safe zone, as used to be hinted by a lot of international community. Of course, so it's a great accomplishment, and it is something that we should all be proud of as Nigerians. And it should also create a level of confidence for those of us who like to do business online or who like to surf the net and do a lot of things online. We should now have a greater level of confidence that if something goes wrong, if we have any untoward activity, that we at least have a legal framework with which we can work with now towards resolving them.
Taking a look also at the fact that you cannot, you can't change this law like that. Yeah. Like you say, it has to go through the same process as that of the Constitution. So, isn't that scary?
Oh, no. I didn't say the process of changing this law is difficult. This particular law can be changed just like you change any other law. What I said was that the National Security Agencies Act is one of those 4 laws that is listed in the Constitution as laws that should not be amended except using the same process for the amendment of the Constitution. You also have the Public Complaints Commission Act, you have the NYSC Act, you have the Land Use Act, and then the NSA Act. These 4 laws, cannot be amended except you go through the same process as the Constitution. But not this one. This law is just an ordinary legislation which can be amended using the same process for its enactment.
That's it on info.com this week. Catch us again next week at the same hour on the same station.